Right. Hello, hello, hello. I think we're live. Let me just check my mic's operating. I do wish I could remove... Can I remove that from here? Yes, remove that from there. Okay. Now if I just refresh that... Okay, that works. Sorry, just realized something a little... The way I've got my screen set up with OBS, I can only see... The audio mixer only gives me 2 bars. And it had the game capture input and my pre-post audio input. But when I'm on the actual game, I want to be able to see my microphone. But I don't need the pre-post loop during the stream. So, okay, never mind. I'm rambling. Hello, 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 and welcome back. I'm back in Final Fantasy XIV today with continuing Sorin's journey into Pandaemonium. Last time we finished the first levels of it, which I've forgotten the name of again. How do I always... I can never remember the first name of the first section of Pandaemonium. I know the second level is Abyssos, and I know the third level is Abyssos. First level is... Can I remember it without looking up the duty finder? Abyssos. Abyssos. Oh, what is it? What is its name? I don't think I can get it. I'm gonna waste too much time trying to remember that. But anyway, it's been a few days of Sorin kind of waiting to hear if there's been any news up from the guys here in Labyrinthos. And, well, maybe about time that he came to check himself. Let me get rid of that. Don't need the chat window. I do suppose I never left him with a link pearl or anything to contact me, so maybe I should have checked in sooner with them. Last time they just kind of waited for me outside the Baldesian Annex for who knows how long. Also, hello Nam, hello Minnie, welcome to the stream. Yeah, of course I'm rambling. Why is that a surprise? Professor Claudian? Oh, I forgot that picture. Claudian's eyes are brimming with the excitement of discovery. Is that what they look like? Is that an eye brimming with excitement? Has there been any news, Professor? Or progress, I should say. Sorin! I've made a breakthrough. After uncountable days and nights, I finally hearkened to the crystal's whispers. I must say... Oh. Everyone? Professor Claudian, where are your manners? While I understand all too well your enthusiasm, I must remind you that even the most academically inclined prefer a composed recounting of events. Yes, of course. My apologies, Sorin. Being consumed by my research for so long, I am afraid I have quite forgotten how to engage in civilized conversation. It's okay. I've spent a lot of time around eccentric people. Don't worry. Yeah, I think all you missed, Minnie, was me. I was kind of rambling a bit about... I still had, on the OBS scene, or I don't know if you use... I don't think you use multiple scenes for your OBS. You're usually the one instigating it. Yeah, I don't know if you use multiple scenes in OBS, but I obviously have several scenes, like one for the pre-look, one for the post-look, one for my standby screen when I use my avatar, one for the game that I'm playing. I have a couple set up for when I'm using when I'm playing with Nintendo DS games, because you need to have 2 screens for that. But yeah, the audio for my pre-loop was still on my actual game scene, which meant it was taking priority over my stream microphone for a place of prominence on my audio mixer. So I was quickly I spent a few moments at the very beginning of stream just kind of going, I'm just going to delete that so I can see my game audio and my mic audio right beside each other. But yeah, that's now I've rambled about the same subject twice in as many minutes. Back to the professor. In that case, perhaps we should start from the beginning, with a crystal set adrift upon the ethereal tides, containing the memories of a party yet unknown. They cried out for deliverance from Pandaemonium, where the ancients kept volatile creations under lock and key. You yourself witnessed the power devouring the facility from within, and the advent of a divine monstrosity, wrought of mythic beast and powerful mage. Fortunately, your martial prowess and combined magical talents of your companions, Themis and Ericthonios, was sufficient to restore order to the circles of Asphodelos. That's it, Asphodelos. I don't know why I can never remember the first part of Pandaemonium. I remember Abyssos and Abyssos easy enough. But for some reason, Asphodelos just doesn't stick. Told you. It's like, yep. Very good at getting me derailed. Where was I? But the greater threat remains. In the depths of Pandaemonium, a presence yet stirs. Its intentions and identity shrouded in mystery. That is the issue at hand, is it not? I believe so. That seems to be about where we left off. Since you returned to us, we worked tirelessly to discern the nature of the crystal. In the process, I detected an anomalous etheric signature, which I believe arose from the memories stored within. Analysis of this pattern suggests a feeling of loss or yearning, specifically the yearning to be made whole. And indeed, ambient readings have revealed a faint but identical signature. This can only mean that another such crystal exists in our time. There's more crystals? So, my friend, I must depart to search for it forthwith. By tracing the matching etheric signature to its source, I believe it will be a simple matter to find our crystal's twin. Professor, will this expedition be carried out only by us, or will Sorin grace us with his protection? I'm afraid he has more pressing matters to attend to, my dear Rusno. Namely, to seek out secrets which lie nestled within Pandaemonium, where this all began. From all that we have heard, it appears that time traversal from the Crystal Tower is not fluid. That is to say, one can but travel in predetermined intervals. It would be prudent to check in on occasion, in case there are any unanticipated changes. Right. I probably should check back there, shouldn't I? As for you, my loyal assistants, I would ask you to remain here and continue cataloguing the ancient creations. Have you enjoyed it? Yeah, the Pandaemonium raids are pretty good. I especially love the... I wasn't like a massive fan. I didn't dislike the music, but it didn't really strike out to me much. The music from Asphodelos, like the first 4 raids, but pretty much every track in the second... Yeah, pretty much every track in these second and third parts are... I love the battle music. You can't mean... Do you intend to search for the crystal on your own? Why yes, that would be the most effective use of resources, would it not? In fact, I have already commissioned a ship and pilot for that very purpose. I trust you to take good care of the laboratory in my absence. Oh. And he's off. I apologize for that somewhat abrupt departure. When progress is in sight, Professor Claudian tends to become blind to all else. Indeed, and he has been worse than usual. While I cannot fault him for his excitement, I do wish he would spare a thought for those around him. For reasons unknown, the crystal seems loath to be overheard. Much as it spoke only to you last time, none but the professor have been able to capture its ethereal yearning. which has only served to convince him that only he can solve this puzzle on his own. Scream. Oh, well, Scream... There's Silent Scream, which is kind of the more... It's got a heavier piano part, but it's just an instrumental of Scream that plays during the first raid, which I've actually come to prefer over the vocal version. There's Scream in the middle 2 raids, and then... Oh, I can't remember the name of the track for the final raid here. But then... The third one you've got... In the third part, there's the... One Amongst the Weary, I think is the name of it. For the first 2 raids, which is really nice. Oh, the vocal Scream is great as well. I'm not saying that I dislike Scream. I'm just kind of saying I've become more and more partial to Silent Scream. Oh, and then you have... I've forgotten the name of it, but it's basically kind of a battle piano theme of To the Edge. And then the final one, obviously, is... I can't remember. I've forgotten the name of it as well. I'm not good at remembering the names of things. So, but yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm tempted to kind of go to my Final Fantasy XIV settings and kind of crank up the music volume a little bit for this stream. Surely after some time alone, he'll come to remember how valuable we are. The search for this crystal seemed to be a simple enough matter. Let him have his adventure, and upon his return, I'm certain he'll be back to his usual self. As for you, Sorin, it may be best to return to Pandaemonium, as Professor Claudian suggested. Speaking of which, I did have a request of my own to make. Traveling to Pandaemonium requires you to pass through Elpis, correct? There is something I would have you investigate in my stead. While those creations confined within Pandaemonium are considered to be failures, I doubt that's their whole story. Barring exceptional cases, they must have been under observation in Elpis before being consigned to their shackles. And if we know anything about the Ancients, it's that they would have kept thorough records of the results. Oh, excuse me. Ah, brilliant! Delving into these records may shed light on creatures Sorin has yet to encounter. If your theory proves correct, that is. Well, there are no guarantees. It certainly beats the current strategy of rushing forward blindly with only his strength to carry the day. For your own sake as well as ours, please unearth what information you can. I'll do my best. Hopefully they'll listen to me. I can kind of pass as a familiar of Asm, but... well... everyone I met there has, I think, forgotten me. Well. Back to Elpis. Part of me still wonders if I shouldn't seek out Vana. Just let her know that it wasn't all in vain, that we succeeded. She's still somewhere in this world, isn't she? So, if I remember correctly, the archives are at the far west of this island. It was one of the Dawn Trail updates I didn't think I enjoy as much as I do. Is just the banking things your mounts do now when you turn it just makes it kind of just that little bit more. What is that? Themis. I thought for a moment that was. Of course, she'd be too busy to return here, wouldn't she? Ah, I did not expect to meet you here, of all places. You seek records of Pandaemonium's creations. Master Themis has just finished perusing the very same. I should not be surprised if we both arrived at the same conclusion. Luckily, I have saved you the trouble and gleaned what information I could. Well, fortuitous timing indeed. Ah, so you know each other. I was dreading having to once again scour the archives, but perhaps instead I'll rest for a spell. If there's nothing else, I shall take my leave. I guess I'd say great minds think alike, but, well, this wasn't really my idea. As should we. For I have undone the warding sigil blocking the entrance to Abyssos. I came here merely to chase an idle suspicion while awaiting your return. Fortunately, while Pandaemonium's protective wards continue to be assailed by our unknown foe, there have been no fluctuations so great as to make me doubt Ericthonios' capacity to watch over Asphodelos while I'm away. Banking took some good. Yeah, it does kind of just... I feel like it's just that slight little bit of extra immersion to it. It's like, it's the kind of thing that you don't realize your brain is picking up on until it's fixed. But it kind of looks more fake when you just kind of like rotate on the spot. Your brain kind of subconsciously kind of associates kind of, okay, this is obviously not real, but just adding that slight tilt just makes your brain process it a little more. That looks more real now. Oh, excuse me. He works diligently to master internment, that he might deliver the creations back to their cages by his own hand. I thought it best to give him time to hone his craft. Glad to hear he's been doing well. And since fate has brought us both here, I would ask you to accompany me while I attend to another matter. More idle suspicions that I would like to chase down. Rest assured it shall not take long. I simply have a few questions to ask an acquaintance of mine. Come, he has agreed to meet us near the naos to Pandaemonium. Wonder what he's thinking about. Oh, hello, Hipposurf. Goodbye, Hipposurf. I suppose if Themis has connections to the Convocation, he probably knows more about the details of Pandaemonium than I do. I suppose I don't know enough to even start asking questions. This kind of fog is nostalgic. It was like this when I first arrived in Elpis. Don't think I'll ever forget. Hyphladeus opened the door to present it to me. And, well, we could hardly see 100 feet in front of our faces. There he is. I wonder if I should ask about the white robe at some point. I can't remember if Bernard said why she wore a white robe when everyone else wore black. Like a fog to help render it, yep. Good old render distance. Excuse me? As I have pondered our expedition into Pandaemonium, I could not help but be mystified by how strongly the warders we encountered felt for La Habrea, whether it be for good or ill. Hesperos and Ericthonios were two sides of the same coin. The former looked to his mentor with absolute devotion, while the latter looks to his father with bald hatred. I would not expect a familiar such as you to understand this, but such extreme emotions towards a single individual are quite rare indeed. Naturally, I feel gratitude towards my mother and father, yet we are all equals in the larger picture of the star. This view is not unique to myself. It is more or less accepted as the way of things. By contrast, the researchers of Pandaemonium seem to view La Habrea with a feeling approaching obsession. Whether driven by love or hate, they have all been drawn to him. There were many other aspects of the facility's particulars I found troubling besides. I decided the best course of action would be to go straight to the source and pose my questions to a member of the Words of La Habrea. Is that who we're meeting? Hello, sir. My apologies to have kept you waiting, Master Themis. I understand you are conducting an investigation of Pandaemonium, and wish to know of its origins. Indeed. In particular, I wish to know why exactly Pandaemonium was built directly under Elpis. Why? Is that important? The facility is overseen by the Words of La Habrea, after all. Why keep it so close to Elpis, whose governing body has no say in its day-to-day operations? At first, I thought it to be simply a matter of convenience. Those creations which were deemed failures by the researchers of Elpis could be easily ushered into their new homes. Imagine my surprise when a trip to the archives revealed that many of the creations were sent from organizations beyond Elpis, including from the Words of La Habrea themselves. Given this, albeit limited, information, I cannot but feel that the Academia and Eider would have been a more fitting locale. I've been there, haven't I? It was one of the facilities in Amarot. What does Elpis have that cannot be found there? These are fitting questions, and one we have asked ourselves many times in recent years. Alas, the nature of Pandaemonium's construction does not lend itself to relocation. When first it was built, the circumstances weren't as they are now. As you surmised, the majority of the creations kept within Pandaemonium were sent from Elpis. Yet, as the years passed, interests changed. Failures in creations deemed too flawed even to submit to Elpis paradoxically drew the attention of Pandaemonium's researchers. Right. So, rather than flawed creations being sent from Elpis, concepts that weren't considered safe enough even for that were sent directly to Pandaemonium from wherever they were created? That is quite the change, and in fact it almost runs counter to the facility's original purpose. Who is it that decides which creations will be the subject of research? Master La Habrea. Such authority is reserved for the Chief Keyword, and he has taken upon himself to step into that role. So if Pandaemonium's resources were being misused, it would be under La Habrea's authority, correct? That's quite an accusation, isn't it? I know not what you're suggesting, but the keywords also hold some sway within the facility. Not even Master La Habrea would be free from their scrutiny. Hungry, but you don't. I know that feeling, Money. It can be. It's tough sometimes to force yourself to eat when you know you should eat, but your brain just is kind of like, I don't want to make that effort. They are duty-bound to report any irregularities as soon as possible. Although I admit, as of late, their communication has been somewhat sporadic, we but recently received a report from one of the key wards stating that all is well within Pandaemonium's halls. Recently? Really? And you are certain that a key ward sent it? You don't have the energy to make that effort. Yeah, it's doubly bad when you're feeling sick. Yes, of course. Our communications suffered a temporary obstruction, but I can assure you that the wards did their due diligence in confirming the identity of the sender. Thank you. This information will be helpful to my investigation. That will be all for my prying. I shall take my leave. While you are yet permitted to conduct your investigation freely, I must remind you that the warder's work is delicate, and it would be remiss to disturb him for longer than is necessary. So, all is well. A blatant lie. And to that we can both attest. One of the remaining key wards is most certainly in league with the party behind us. And I suppose not only that, but they must be preventing the other key wards from sending out any messages. That or... I don't want to consider it, but the entire facility is compromised. Let us hurry. I know not why our adversary sent that report, but 'tis plain that we must return to Pandaemonium with haste. Right. I guess Nemesisi will have to wait for her report. Themis? I cannot guess as to why this false report has arisen now, but it most certainly bodes ill. As does the knowledge that our mysterious mastermind has at least one more keyword to puppet. Regardless, they have tipped their hand, and we would be remiss to leave Ericthonios at the mercy of their machinations. Let us hope no harm has befallen him. Oh. There's Nam into EDF 4. I think your stream yesterday, Mooney, got him. Maybe put the idea in his head to go back. Not quite. I've traced these sigils countless times, yet still I lack the strength to maintain the spell. Now time works against me. I can no longer be victim to my own ineptitude. What? Who goes there? There is something to be admired in such single-minded effort, even if your methods leave much to be desired. You allowed this familiar to catch you unawares. Have you set your sights so high as to forget you walk upon the earth? Nice to know you're a bit of a trendsetter. I know this creature. I'm familiar with the Phoenix. That monster's locked away. That it is. In spite of the trouble I went to in freeing it, I might add. Begrudge me for addressing you in this ill-fitting form if you must. But with control of Asphodelis wrested from my grasp, 'tis simply the best I can offer you. Hide if you will, but mark my words. I will find you, make you pay for the chaos you've sown. Now, there is no need for such hostility. A calm heart stays the course. The wisdom of La Habrea. Your father. And how would you know what wisdom he speaks? I have heard those words many times. The scolding of a tutor whose students struggle to grasp those rudimentary lessons, seething with disgust. No. I've not told that to anyone. Oh, I've not told that to anyone. Not even keyword Hesperus. That can only mean one thing. But still you insist on mocking me. Stop this farce, La Habrea. At last you move to keep up. Pity that you remain behind nevertheless. What? As ever you are, always you fail to learn, fail to understand, fail to act. And though fate deigned to offer an escape, you remain here. You are bereft of magical prowess and common sense both. But you need not despair. Dull though you may be, you are yet indispensable to Pandaemonium's great experiment. Here's the affection I remember. Tell me, did I ever once measure up to your expectations? You shall. Take pride in that, and rejoice to see your wish fulfilled. What wish? Come, and all shall be revealed. All this rage, this hatred, is but a consequence of ignorance. Our desires align more than you know. What are you? Uninvited guests join our reunion. It seems fortune no longer favors you. Ericthonios? What is... That's one of Phoenix's... Do you think I have any interest in listening to you prattle? Let alone bowing to your will? I am no longer a child, and my faith lies with those who have earned it. So these are the heroes who brought Hesperus low, even as power divine flowed through his veins. 'Tis plain there are worthier subjects to contend with. Leaving just like that. Ericthonios? What was that about? Let's get a punk. I'm still waiting for kind of a better consensus on what to do about getting affiliate, especially because things have kind of been since I finished Amori, really things have been. I think Amori was kind of a game that was definitely kind of boosting my channel a bit. Just what was that familiar after? Ericthonios? You can't tell us anything? Thank you. If you had shown up even a moment later, I shudder to think what would have become of me. There's something I must tell you. I know who's behind this. There is but one person who can hold thrall over familiar, creation, and keyword alike. You don't mean... Oh boy. Still coughing. And so there can be but one conclusion. La Brea was the driving force behind this chaos from the start. There's a logic to that. There are few of it the wherewithal to even consider experimentation on such a scale, let alone the capacity to create demigods from man and beast, with the rest of us none the wiser. Yeah, it tends to be that. Yeah, it often is that way. It's kind of people come more just to see people play the games they enjoy. I think it takes like a decent force of personality to convince people to come along to streams just for the person playing them. But yeah, that's, I kind of already, like I said out at the beginning that it's never been my goal to be a successful, well, a popular streamer. For me, success is as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Considering the magnitude of his work with the convocation and the words, his relatively minor role as chief keyword comes under little scrutiny, even as it provides him the authority to wield dangerous magics. It may serve as veil and mantle both. Still, I find the notion hard to accept. The misdeeds perpetrated here could not have been done by the La Brea I know. You have met him, yes? Do you think he is capable of this? That's... the La Brea I know? What was he like in this time? I don't know. It truly is a puzzle with many missing pieces. Still, I see you do not deny outright the possibility that La Brea is a man with few scruples. That alone should be enough, but let me assure you, La Brea holds nothing so dear as his own ambition. While he may not be one to let emotion stand in the way of his mission, I cannot believe there are no depths to which he would not stoop. Oops, excuse me. Although we met but briefly, the impression he left on me stands in stark contrast to your evaluation. Though his methods are ever unorthodox, they seemed guided by a firm understanding of what is just. There's only one way to find out for certain. We delve deeper into Pandaemonium and pull back the curtain on this mystery ourselves. A wise course. I would not deny the truth if I saw it with my own eyes, even if it was discomforting to behold. I guess we're diving deeper then. And we must move forward with no excess of caution. La Brea, or whoever's behind us, has likely spread their tentacles into every corner of Pandaemonium. We can safely assume the other keywords won't greet us with open arms. Agreed. Let us make our way through Abyssos one careful step at a time. Sorry, excuse me. I shall stay by Ericthonios' side, in case our enemies think to target him again. Can I trouble you to take the vanguard? Of course. I feel that's kind of what I'm here for. Thank you. As a precaution, I shall safeguard you with a simple spell. This will ensure that, even should we become separated, my phantom warriors will still come to your aid. If it does come to battle, the keyword's magics will put us at a disadvantage once again. Luckily, we have you to even scale somewhat. I trust you shall be liberal with your weight. I'll do what I can. Abyssos, the 5th circle. Oh. Oh, hold up. Just what is Labra planning? And what role do I play in his schemes? Where are they? Raids. Ooh, less than 5 minutes. Let me just, I'm gonna quickly, I think I am gonna, where's my system configuration? Background music. Let me up that a little bit. I want to listen to the music for this battle. Judging from the demeanor of that familiar, there's little doubt that our enemy has a tight grip on Pandaemonium and its denizens. We will be vulnerable. Alrighty. An advantage, I think, to Sorin starting to main a tank class is the queues are a little shorter. Yeah, I don't think we never had to wait too long last stream on any of our the raids. I don't think. I think we got most of them in less than 5 minutes. I don't really know if there's much time to do anything else. None of the gear's damaged enough to really bother repairing it. I do have tombstones of Poetic, so maybe I can return to Sharlayan quickly and just see if... I'm still working on getting to the augmented Pandaemonium gear for Sorin. So I've been ignoring him more than I've been intending to. I've been slacking on the tombstone grind. There we are. Pandaemonium gear. So I've got the torso, the legs, one of the rings. Get me some boots. Yeah, it definitely is is a game that I kind of I'll play quite a lot of for a couple of months, and then I'll kind of not play it much for a couple of months. And then I'll come back to it. Oh. Did I register my Nosferatu? Cool, found some left. Oh, that's nice you found something. Let me just reapply the glam. Make sure the portrait is working. Remember what? You did the first mission, think you're going to uninstall? Which maybe these are achievements we need to focus on a single achievement at a time? What? I don't think, like, I think kind of like, aren't like all of EDF's achievements, like both in 4 and 5, very much just, you'll just kind of get them normally as you grind the game. Because I think it's all kind of complete every mission on a different difficulty as each class. There's... I know in EDF 4 there's some for like defeating like X amount of each enemy type. And one for collecting all the weapons. Oh, but yeah, I suppose in EDF 4 you can't earn armor and stuff for other classes at the same time, can you? Yeah, to be fair, I've never been particularly... I've not been too much of someone to go for achievement grinding. Yeah, so you got some achievements just playing the whole thing on different. Yeah, like, I do suppose that's kind of one of the nice thing about EDF achievements seem to just be... you can complete many EDF 5? Well, let me kind of have a look at some EDF achievements. So, because I don't remember them being all that different. So yeah, EDF 4 is... yeah, just... destroy, like, certain numbers of different enemies, which you just get passively by playing the game. Collecting percentages of the weapons. Upgrading your classes. There's the higher and higher achievement in EDF 4, which I find a little silly. The one you get for reach a height of 200 meters, which I think there's one of the missions in multiplayer, or it might even be in single player, that you earn automatically at the spawn for one of the later missions. The mission where you spawn at the top of like a mountain and you have to slowly descend, fighting your way past transports. Yeah, clear all stages on normal as Ranger. Yeah, it's just... yeah, EDF 4 is just kind of mostly just clear all stages on X difficulty as X class. I think EDF 5 is pretty much the same. Yeah, you all get that achievement for the highest one. EDF 5 just kind of words it differently, because you get your achievements based on... yeah, main story total completion rate, which... getting the Conquest 100% is doing the same thing as getting all the achievements in EDF 4. If you have the Conquest 100% in EDF 5, you have to put in the same amount of work. Because it's still complete every mission on every difficulty as every class. It's just kind of in a different format. Yeah, the way I see it, like EDF 4 and 5, like the achievements are the same, they're just kind of the wording of them is a little different. I hope it's not going to be one of these days for queues. The last stream, the queue times like started off a bit longer. Like I think we had like 8-9 minutes on the queues. I think one of them was 12 minutes. But the queue always popped in under that time. And now it was less than 5 minutes, but we're now at 8.5. Oh boy. I don't know if I'll ever get any of the achievements for like completely 100%ing EDF games. Especially the Warden and the speed you can get them. Oh, the speed. No, I feel they're about the same speed, because you do have like an extra. There's an additional like 20 something missions in EDF 5 compared to EDF 4. Ooh, an EDF 5. Well, I suppose EDF 5 doesn't have an achievement for weapon collecting. Yeah, I kind of feel like EDF isn't a game even if I did kind of like care more about achievements, I don't know if I'd be as invested in EDF achievements. Particularly because mainly it's the thought of, if you're going to start achievement hunting, you need to kind of understand that you need to be able to solo cave missions on Inferno as Air Raider. I dislike playing Air Raider in cave missions in multiplayer. Oh. And that's even on just hard difficulty, not even going up to Inferno. This queue definitely wants to take its time. Ooh. I'm trying to place. I'm just imagine though. Do imagine though. Took you a couple tries to that 1K mission. Oh yeah, that mission though. That mission is. In EDF 4, I feel that's probably one of the hardest missions, is that one where you're in the cave. You start off on the low ground and the bugs just swarm in from above. If you had that exact mission on EDF 5, it would probably be much easier. Because in EDF 5, you could get a ranger's shotgun with the penetration. So you can shoot multiple bugs at once. Yeah, I think when I did it, because I put up a bit of EDF 4 while you were playing last night, Mooney. Oh, here we go. And yeah, I kind of remembered I had finished playing through on hardest and I had started on Inferno. And I kind of remember doing that mission on Inferno took me a couple of dozen of attempts. Because there's just so many bugs and they do so much damage on higher difficulties. Not to mention in EDF 4 how hard it is to see in caves. Alright, this is, that didn't take long. Then you just got... There it is. Silent scream. Where? Mythic creation. Proto carbuncle. Carbuncle? Right. Just like any other fight. Oh, I'm off tanking. Nice to know. Oh, I guess we're ignoring the timer. Now, can I remember how this fight goes? Because I've not done this one often. Carbuncle get into roids too. Yeah, that's something as well. Like, Sorin has used Carbuncle. He started off as an Arcanist. Brunch. Oh. Okay, I think I remember how this works. Is this a safe one? Sonic Howls and AoE? Yes? Yep. To Pandaemonium. Intervention. Speedrun. Alrighty. What's happening? Something's happening. Is this the phase? Yep, phase change. This isn't looking good. Not in the cage anymore. This is... This again. Okay, I can do this. So, without knowing where Themis and Ericthonios are, I might just have to kill this one. That was actually kind of bad timing for that. Okay. I don't remember. Okay. Now I think I remember? Okay, yeah, just dodge in order. I think we did it. Ericthonios, Themis. Chose a good time to show up. That's an instant killer. Oh, if you get stomped. I probably did know that because I probably died to it my first playthrough of this. All right. How many steps here did it take before things started going wrong? I suppose that probably means we're on the right track. What kind of bugs are those fly traps eating? I probably don't want to know. So, this is where research is conducted on creations imbued with poisons and venoms. Ericthonios and I were conveyed not far from here. It seems our foe is finding it more difficult to surprise us. That's good, right? Fortunately for you, since they appeared particularly keen to see you dispatched as quickly as possible. You reached the bottom of the stairs before you got yoinked. Even alone, you're a force to be reckoned with. Part of me is glad you emerged victorious, that I might observe you further. That mosque is... Were the circumstances different, I might thank you for keeping my son alive for this long. But I believe we can forego introductions, unless I have misread you. La Brea? Am I supposed to know who you are? I think Sorin's just... He doesn't have the sass in him at the moment. Oh boy. Possibly perceptive. Yes. I am La Brea, of the Convocation of 14. If you truly are who you claim to be, then answer this question. That can wait. What is this? Themis? Now, this is curious. The trap I wove at your feet reacts to ether, but you remain unaffected. Such thin ether, and in an unfamiliar composition besides. It is of no matter, I suppose. A more direct approach will beget the same results. What? I would advise you to think carefully before deciding your next action. Strike me down here, and Ericthonios' wish shall remain unfulfilled. Never again shall he meet Athena. Mother? You would dare hide behind her name? Listen well, Ericthonios. We are of the same mind concerning your mother. You have your allies for protection, so what harm is there in hearing me out? Ericthonios, wait! There's a question I must needs ask first. If you truly are La Brea, why speak such blatant lies? Bitter in defeat, are we? Say my name. Your name? A simple request. Themis, was it? A trifle soon forgotten. As are you. I have my answer. The La Brea that I knew took pride in the Convocation, and would never suffer its denigration. You sully his station with this farce. Themis? Themis, what are you saying? La Brea and I hardly saw eye to eye, but I know his voice when I hear it. Indeed, he makes a passing fine imitation in appearance and manner. However, the real La Brea would never call me by the name Themis. He wouldn't... Another La Brea? What trouble have you gotten yourself into, Elpis? Elpis? But that mark is... Imposter. You have no right to claim that form. That mask. Who is... What? Who? It was a mask that sickened me to wear. The mask of La Brea, a man who values his position above all, who would murder his own wife in pursuit of duty. Yet you would assume my name and wield powers that are mine by right. Any worth you may have hinges on that which you so despise. Such trite provocations. I will not be goaded into finishing this ere my work is done. Ericthonios, listen well. I am Abyssos, and it is I whom you should call father. What in the name of creation? We would do well not to stand idle while our enemy is about. I believe an explanation is in order. Elpis, let us return to safety so you may provide it. Now that sounds more like the La Brea I know. So, La Brea is here now. There's an imposter La Brea, and Themis is... Elpis? Before we depart, however, I must offer you an apology. As La Brea said, I am Elpis, one of the convocation, and emissary of their will. For reasons which do not involve you, it was necessary to hide my identity while investigating this place. Still, that hardly excuses my deception. Would Sorin have had a feeling? I don't know if Sorin's kind of... if Sorin would kind of put things together. Ooh. I know when I first played through myself, like, myself and my character Joseph were kind of able to put things together with the white robe, and I think there's one or two of the side quests you can do in Elpis, where you kind of, like, they explain, like, why Vana wears a white robe. I'm hoping this one... Yeah, sorry, put things together, jeez. Sorin's... Let Sorin not put things together. I'm also kind of like saying, like, canonically, like, between the end of Endwalker and starting Pandaemonium, Sorin's been kind of just taking a break for a few months. So he's maybe forgotten some of the details that he could be putting things together. I'm hoping this bottom one isn't kind of like a snarky response and is more just a kind of acknowledgement that, well, fair's fair, I'm also keeping secrets, you don't need to apologize. Part of me feels it was more of a main quest. Yeah, part of me feels like it might have been there, but I don't remember. Like, because when I went through it to Sorin, I only did the main quests. And I don't remember it coming up with Sorin, but I definitely remember it being mentioned somewhere, which is why I feel it's possibly a side quest. Or possibly some dialogue in the main quest, but like one where you have to choose to talk to someone. Like how you have to talk to Vanna just during one of the moments where she's not part of the quest progression. You don't need to apologize. You're not the only one keeping secrets. That is reassuring to hear. The burdens we bear are heavy enough without adding a grudge to their weight. In any case, we have pressing matters to attend to. Let us do as Labrea suggested and return to the gates. We can speak there. Please, help him. Save him. Who was... Maybe this is probably the kind of place I shouldn't pay much heed to voices I hear. I see Elpis has chosen to keep odd company. Such a vexing composition of ether you possess. How do I talk to Labrea? I kind of began to understand and find common ground with Elpis and Emmett Selk, but my connection with him, Labrea, was... Why is Sorin's shadow flashing? Like in and out of existence. Labrea was really only ever a villain to me. I still don't understand. Themis? Oh, this was an opinion I didn't know you had, Mooney. As you are aware by now, I am known as Elpis. After my dear friend Azam and I detected irregularities in Pandaemonium, we decided the best course of action would be to hide my station as I conducted my investigation. I mean, the light source in here? Yeah, possibly. I just kind of noticed in this, it kind of just bugged me a little bit. I am sure Labrea, as well, is eager to find out why I hid who I was, so I shall save that story for later. First, I would like to speak of you, my friend. Money, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I hadn't... I wasn't aware that that was your particular thought on it. Although neither Azam nor I had ever met you in the flesh, you came with his highest recommendation. That alone was enough for me to accept you as an ally without question. That somewhere in the world a guiding star so similar to himself was out there amused Azam to no end. There was not a shade of doubt in his heart that you would be a formidable ally. You possibly did say it in your own Pandaemonium raids, but I remember, like, I think when you were doing... At that time, I wasn't making it to a lot of your streams. Similar to now, I didn't have my sleep schedule. So yeah. Just because... just because I prefer women doesn't mean that I can't appreciate when a man looks good. Furthermore, I have heard stories that Mistress Vana, who held the position of Asm previously, journeyed with a familiar much like yourself. That made the decision to trust you all the easier. So there are still stories making it around then. She too now dons the white robes of an advisor. If she placed her absolute faith in you, I knew I would be in capable hands. So that's the white robes. Right. Aware though I was of the path you had walked, I had no interest in exposing you. I merely wanted to meet you, to travel by your side for a while. It's only 1 hour part, no? Yeah. But if you want to watch the streams, Nam, you'll find a way. You say early. Nam, if I can sometimes stay up till 4 to get to a mini stream, I'm sure you can manage a couple of extra hours. I may know but a small portion of your whole story, but that is enough for me. That is enough for me to believe you would never lead me astray. I wanted to tell you that. Well, thank you. I only hope I can earn that trust. Nam just doesn't care. Cool. I'm fairly certain Nam used to watch some of my streams while he was at work. I think I recall, Nam, was there one occasion where you actually got called out on it? See, I try and get it to your streams, Money, but I do it the wrong way. I think I'll just stay up when I should go to. I need to go to sleep earlier and then just wake up at 4 o'clock. Had to quit for a while and get that much better height. Oh boy. See, that kind of scared me a little bit because, like, didn't you work with like didn't you work with like heavy machinery, or like not heavy machine, like potentially dangerous machinery? I don't know how long it's been since we last spoke, La Brea. Truth be told, I had hoped we never would again. I see now that I was a fool to think I would ever escape your meddling. Just what is that thing that called himself La Brea? And why is he the spitting image of your younger self? I find it hard to believe you've only just now found out such a being was wreaking havoc in Pandaemonium. Did you think matters would simply sort themselves out? I do need to nap. I like talking with people. I am a social creature with social anxiety, so when I find people I can comfortably talk to, I kind of latch on. Dangerous species required you to be on your feet with both hands at the ready. Which was well, if you're confident you are being safe while you're doing it, I guess all is fair. Yeah, the Amarot music. I suppose you deserve at least a cursory explanation. I was well aware of the anomalies occurring within Pandaemonium, including the fact that Asm and Elpis had taken it upon themselves to investigate. I saw no reason to insert myself into the situation. For a time, that was. Imagine my surprise when instead of a formal report from you and yours, I received a communication from one of the key wards stating that research and operations were proceeding as usual. While Hephaestos' deception was almost childish in its simplicity, it became plain to me that your grasp on the situation was slipping. So, you knew of his existence from the beginning? I can hardly imagine that you would suffer another to masquerade as one of the convocation. Not without good reason, at least. As you well know, the name La Habrea is but a marker of my station. 'Tis not the name I was born with. Hephaestos has claimed that for himself. I cannot fault him for it, as he is my other half, in a manner of speaking. He knows all that I know, my equal in every way, yet within his heart is naught but greed, envy, and desire. All the emotions that we are loath to acknowledge within ourselves. If what you say is true, what purpose would such a being serve? He is the product of experimentation gone awry. A reminder of the days when I was yet young and reckless. I thought him sealed away for good, but it seems time has a way of unearthing the shame we bury. When he spoke of my mother, he looked at you with venom in his eyes, blamed you for her death. Tell me, was he right to do so? That's, His words were but the ramblings of a tortured mind. The hatred and despair he endures has warped his view of the world irreparably. And now that he has awakened, he must be put to rest. If he succeeds in breaching Pandaemonium's protective wards, he shall invite disaster onto our star. As chief keyword of Pandaemonium, it is my duty to decide the proper course of action. As such, I declare that all research shall be summarily abandoned and the facility destroyed. That's... What? You would leave the other warders to their doom? There's a choice befitting La Habrea. Do you disagree? You speak of duty, and ours is to guide our star and its inhabitants upon the correct course. It is of no surprise that you would choose annihilation of Pandaemonium if its existence posed even the remotest risk to our people. Yet, as you can see by Ericthonios' response, the decision is somewhat more nuanced than that. Hazem and I grappled with this conundrum for some time, in fact. That is precisely why I chose to involve myself directly. It was the only way I could truly determine the best solution. And you need not trouble yourself with that further. The chief keyword must prevent the worst from occurring, no matter the cost. Your feelings, Elpis, are of no consequence. Have you taken even a moment to consider another path? No! You've spared nary a thought for aught but yourself and your duty. You have no idea of the trials we've endured, the foes that Sorin has stood against. Sorin, is it? A being of such ether as I have never seen. What are you? He is the guiding star that shall lead us safely through this. Thanks to his stout arm and steadfast courage, we have subdued the mythic creations and returned them to their cells. Speaking of which, I would hear your opinion, Sorin. As outsiders, we are in a unique position to look upon circumstances with our vision unclouded by attachment. That's... If there's people still in there, I want to save them. Agreed. We still know next to nothing about Abyssos, and I highly doubt La Brea has been forthcoming with the truth. But we've managed to regain control of Asphodelis. He must be made to see that there's merit in continuing on this path. I have it. Speak in your official capacity as Elpis the Emissary. Judge which approach is more sound, and even La Brea would be compelled to listen. That feels a little like... Themis? As Elpis, I am duty-bound to assess the matter from a position of impartiality. My opinion as Themis can carry no weight. You understand what that means, yes? I do. Even so, you've walked with us all this time, seen what we've seen. Based on that alone, I trust that you'll find the best way forward. I'll trust your judgment as well. In the end, I'd have never made it this far without Elpis' decisions. Very well. Then in my capacity as emissary, I shall state my judgment. At present, there are merits both in destroying Pandaemonium outright, and in taking the time to rescue its researchers. And neither is yet an impossible task. Therefore, I judge the most measured choice would be to continue upon our present course. We delve into Abyssos, interring any mythic creations we encounter along the way. You have yet to witness Sorin's might and Ericthonios' resolve. I would ask that you see our capabilities firsthand, and only then decide if our endeavor is futile. If such is the will of the emissary, then I shall obey. However, if indeed I find your strength to be lacking, I trust there will be no objections to the immediate destruction of Pandaemonium. You needn't worry about that. We won't fail. You are bolder than I remember. You're even more tedious than I remember. Sorin, come find me when you're finished. Excuse me? Ericthonios is understandably frustrated, but if we are to conquer Abyssos, we must go forth with clear heads. Pray lend an ear to his troubles, that their weight might be lightened. Something I'm going to check now, because I do know, I think the final raid does have voice acting. So I'm going to just make sure... Okay, cutscene language is on English. What did I miss? Oh yeah, the guy who... Yeah, I remember you mentioning that there was a guy who lost his finger at your work. That's... Yeah, I'd get... I feel like working with heavy machinery and stuff like that is something I probably shouldn't be allowed to do. Like, I know how I could be in car parks, like how easily my mind can kind of slip from what I'm doing. I feel I'd be very much a hazard to myself, if not a hazard to people around me, if I was put in if I was entrusted with heavy machinery. Ericthonios? You wanted to talk? You do have my gratitude, ill-fit as I am to show it at the moment. Without your words to sway him, La Brea would have carried out his plan without a second thought. When at first we realized the creations had slipped their... Sorry, excuse me. When at first we realized the creations had slipped their bonds, the other keywords did all in their power to restore order. Even though they could have chosen escape, they remained to aid their allies. I'm certain not a soul among them would wish to see this facility erased from the world. They don't deserve to be abandoned simply for carrying out their duty. And besides, Abyssos has secrets yet untold. Secrets that would be buried if Pandaemonium were reduced to rubble. I mean to uncover the truth behind his words. The truth of my mother. While La Brea was quick to dismiss his claims, I failed to see what Abyssos would gain by fabricating such a story. All I was told of my mother's death was that she perished in an accident. No one would say more. It was almost as if they feared saying more, in fact. Even if it was not La Brea that dealt the fatal blow, we've seen with our own eyes how quickly he can condemn others to die. I only wish to know at last what befell her. What do you think, Sorin? Does the La Brea you know have any regard for the lives of others? Or will he carry out his duty with another's blood on his hands? It really is hard for me to say, Ericthonios. The La Brea I know is... Ooh. I feel that there would be... I know like Sorin's kind of been giving him the benefit of the doubt, but there is, I know still, especially after seeing, like, again, how quickly he is to just let other people die for his duty. He always did seem a man who worked from the shadows. Well, that in and of itself isn't reason for suspicion. He's one of the convocation who must forge the path for mankind. Naturally, not all of their activities are conducted within the public eye. Some honey right now, focus again. Oof. Hopefully you're not... Hopefully it's not something that's going to get too bad for you, Moody. Getting sick is never pleasant. But it is plain there's much to consider. Thank you, Sorin. It's easy for me to get carried away by emotion when he's concerned. We should focus on the task at hand. Proving to La Brea we are capable of saving Pandaemonium and its keepers. The most convincing way to do that will be to regain control of Abyssos. Well, let's do that then. Although I'm loath to admit it, he would know more about those depths than any of us. And seeing as how we require every advantage we can afford. Hopefully you do feel better tomorrow. Sorin, would you speak to him for us? He seems to have a special interest in your capabilities, and may deign to help at your suggestion, if only to see what you can do. I can certainly ask. asking... Never thought the day would come where I'd be asking La Brea for help. La Brea? Sir? Should I, sir? Ericthonios appears to have a deep trust in you, and Elpis tells me you share some relation to Asm. Your unusual ether does not mark you as a familiar. It is unlike anything I have seen, even among the countless concepts I have observed. To think that I would encounter an existence I could not create by my own hand. Asm never ceases to surprise. The previous Asm was much the same, and taking the entirety of the star into consideration, she came to hold dear emotions and people that a more logical mind would have discarded. This made her act in her own self-interest more often than not. Just as you and Elpis have conducted yourselves in this matter. The true danger of Asm's nature is its tendency to infect all those he comes into contact with. Selk said much the same. Trust that I shall do naught that would violate my duty. And yet you so frivolously invoked your authority as emissary to justify this little excursion. It matters little, however. Only your deeds can speak for you now. You wish to know more of Abyssos, I take it. Although I no longer have control over many of its functions, I can yet sense what creations lie within. The chief keyword's reach is far indeed. Well then, what do we have to look forward to? I sense no creations of note. Perhaps they have been made into fodder for experimentation, or perhaps they have been transferred into deeper circles. Yet Hephaestus would never allow you safe passage. He has left a trial for you to overcome. I speak of Hegemony, keyword of Abyssos. Although her presence is stained with marks of corruption, it is unmistakable. I knew her as a woman gifted in magic, and blessed with a highly logical mind. While I can sense those qualities within her still, there is something else at work. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say that's because she's already been twisted into a Hemitheos, doubtless against her will. Sorin, Themis, we must rescue her from that cruel fate. And if we cannot, we can at least seal her away until we find a means to undo the damage. Right. Though, I recall that didn't work out with... the last time. Your allies make you bold, Ericthonios. I very much look forward to seeing how far they carry you. I wasn't expecting this adventure to become quite this awkward. There we go. Hegemony was a woman of reason and logic. She would never be swayed by Hephaestus' wretched schemes. I hope she was not made to suffer overmuch. Let us not change a strategy that has served us well thus far. Bring Hegemony to heal Sorin, and Ericthonios and I shall inter her when the time is right. Now we prove our strength. Only then can we free the other warders and unveil the truth hidden in Pandaemonium's shadows. Well, back to playing the waiting game. Yeah, hopefully you do feel better tomorrow, Money. I know, it's just kind of... It's just not fun being sick a lot of the time. I'll just take the while there's... We're not in a raid to grab a tissue and blow my nose quick. I am kind of more and more convinced that I've managed to catch a cold, like 2 different colds, like within 2 weeks. I came down rather more badly last week. No, not last week, week before. And I think there's been another cold going around the family that I've managed to catch. But I've got that, like, recent immunity. So it's kind of only barely able to affect me. Because I know, yeah, my mum especially came down quite badly with it. Probably make some tea later for your food. Yeah, I've heard, like, some types of tea are quite good for sore throats. My throat isn't too sore, there's just kind of like just a very, very slight itch in the back of it that kind of makes me feel like there's something just like stuck in it. Like a little tiny crumb of something has gone down the wrong way. Ooh. Alrighty. Itchy throats are annoying. Yeah. It's kind of like it's not like I'm coughing because I kind of... It's kind of like my brain kind of has this instinctive response to try and like cough out whatever's in my throat, but I don't think there actually is anything stuck in my throat. And I feel it's in kind of like it's not in, I feel it's like in my breathing, my windpipe part, because I can't, because when I take a drink or anything, like it doesn't feel like drinking or eating anything bothers my throat. I do kind of wonder with Pandaemonium, like, is this just like... I know La Habrea wasn't the first keyword, and I don't know if it's ever mentioned if Athena was the first keyword or just kind of just La Habrea's predecessor. But kind of like... I'm just looking at the aesthetic of it. I'm kind of like... Yeah, they kind of definitely wanted to go ominous with this, didn't they? Kind of hurts you. Yeah, that's the bad type of sore throat where it kind of even makes eating and drinking just painful. I don't know if I've... Don't know if I've had a sore throat quite that bad for a while. Had to do it so it contrasts with the soft, warm colors. Yeah, this is how you know you're in the bad, dangerous place. We make it obvious that this is somewhere you don't want to be. I do wonder, kind of like, before the incident, like, would all these cages have had something inside them, or are these purely decorative cages? And can I look? You can't look any higher. Okay, yeah, the chains just float there. I do like the floor tile patterns. They kind of look like little heart shapes, which feels not quite dramatic. It's also not symmetrical, which bothers me a little bit. Oh well. So part of this like really feels like every time I kind of like walk into this area, like I feel like this looks like an encounter area. But nope, nothing happens here. Okay, we found a couple of DPS. I do wonder, like, what the plan is, like, for Final Fantasy XIV to expand duty support. Like, if it ever will be, like, retroactively added into, like, previous expansion trials and raids. Because they've shown they can... Like, the devs are perfectly capable of doing 8-man trials with duty support. Because we had one in Endwalker, and we had 2 in Dawn Trail. And kind of, I'd feel a raid. I feel like the normal raids, possibly. The only thing is, I suppose, with duty support, with raids, like, designing characters for them. Be nice to do a single player raid experience in the older content. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, as well, what I remember, I think, like, Yoshi P said in one of the interviews, talking about, like, future plans for Final Fantasy XIV, and, like, one of the ideals he wanted for Final Fantasy XIV was to make it possible to be entirely, like, soloed, in the way of, like, not having any other human players. Because if they can get to that stage, that gives them the option that if the game ever gets to a point where it's not financially viable to remain an MMO, they can still, like, they can just release it as a normal game. So the people who do enjoy it can still play it. It just won't have the MMO capacity. Because that is one thing I have to kind of understand, like think about when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV, is as long as they're focusing on Final Fantasy XIV, like that's a lot of effort that they're devoting to a game that's already been released that they can't put towards any new games. But yeah, I still imagine things like maybe this. I don't know if like they could do how well they could work it to do a duty support for Savage or Extreme content. I imagine it's doable, but that might have to be something more where like there's a party. You just have to rely more on party finders. There's no. I suppose, yeah, you kind of have to rely on party finders anyway. But rather than just being in an MMO setting, it's more like peer-to-peer matchmaking. Or not matchmaking, because you're not matchmaking, you're... I am rambling about stuff I don't understand now, that's what I'm doing. I did not mean to take a screenshot, but oh well. Doo-doo-doo. Queues are definitely taking a bit longer for Abyssos than for... I forgot the name of it already. What is the name of it? Asphodelos. Which is kind of a little odd, because I thought Abyssos would be more popular than I suppose as well when I did Asphodelos, I was doing it... That was a later stream, so I was probably playing during a time where there's more people on. Which is the disadvantage of living in the UK but playing on a North American data center. Also, I wanted to... I know I used to have it as a kid, but I still kind of have it now, but... Does anyone, when they're on a tiled floor and they pace around, like, just... Does anyone else make up, like, little games you have to play? Like, you turn yourself into a chess piece, and you're only allowed to set foot on tiles, like, if they're in a certain pattern. Because I still do that sometimes, like when I notice I'm on a tile, like a patterned tiled floor, and I'm just kind of like, I can only step on certain blocks. Hop. Hop. Hop around. Practice for leap of faith jumps. Get your precision down. Nope, too far. You still only work. Yeah, if you have a tiled floor, you have to kind of, your brain just like, nope. You're only allowed to step on the dark red tiles. It's just one of those things I've never grown out of, is just kind of like my brain automatically making up those little games and the rules I have to follow. This one's taking its time. Which is a little annoying, because I remember this is one of the raids that I was getting constantly for so long on my normal raid roulette. At least I think Hegemony is the one I think it is. Ooh, ooh. Ooh. Part of me wonders if I should swap to Astrologian and give it a go, but I'm at that nervous point where I've committed to the tank queue for 16.5 minutes now. Which makes me kind of feel like, what if the queue's just about to pop? I'm waist deep into sunk cost fallacy now. I've been waiting for this long, I might as well continue waiting. Do 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 do. Hop, step, jump. These are the... You never actually see these in Pandaemonium, I don't think, these serpent things. They do appear in, it's one of the bosses in, Hyperborea? I still don't know how to pronounce the Catissus part of it. The, where's the Endwalker dungeon? There it is. Catissus Hyperborea. Okay, yeah. I don't know if it's just I've been getting more distracted. This queue taking 18 minutes now definitely hasn't helped. But yeah, we're at the 2-hour mark and we've only done one of the raids. This might end up actually being a 4-part series. Five if Abyssos takes the same time. Oh, excuse me. If the time elapsed gets to 20 minutes, I think I'll drop out of the queue and swap to Astrologian and see if the healer queues are any better. And I'll wish again that Sorin had White Mage or Sage. I'm not a fan of Scholar and Astrologian. Aesthetically I like both of them, but mechanically I find him awkward to play as. I like my White Mage and I like my Sage. I think mostly, like, Sorin does... I think Sorin, like, does for the most part play as classes I enjoy, which is helpful. Yeah, I like... Paladin's my favorite tank. And when it comes to DPS, I'm kind of not decided on melee DPS what I like the most. I kind of keep flip-flopping, though kind of not Dragoon. I don't know what it is about Dragoon, but Dragoon just doesn't click with me. Physical range DPS, yeah, probably Dancer. I used to really like, I kind of like Bard, but only in kind of like when I'm doing like current expansion raids or things, like where it feels nice to be doing all the party buffs. Magical, actually I feel like kind of like of all the classes, Caster's probably where I would say like nearly like most of them are favorites. Summoner's fun, Black Mage is fun, Red Mage is fun, Pictomonster's fun. I like my Casters. Oh, we've got one healer. Do I wait a little more? Does that mean we're nearly getting... There we go. Okay, I shouldn't have swapped over. Just no one drop out. Alright, everyone. Come on, DPS. Don't let me down. Light party. Here we go. Is that the Gemini? All right. That's... Okay, they're only going to have to watch the floor. Bastard couldn't be loved. There's Scream. You're able to stay. Alrighty. Here we go. Abyssos is my charge, and I shall not shirk my duty. Be swept away in a flood of ether. Oh, that's a... Wait, oh. Getting mixed up. I thought I was... That's the sideways. Front and back. And front and back again. Simifios' Dark is just your AoE. Yep. Oh, this, I remember this. But I have to remember this because I am not... Oh, now I'm talking about it. There we go. Like that. Oh, that feels bad for me. That... Okay. Wasn't what? I kind of figured a little too late. Maybe I was still a little too close for that. Oh wait, this is forwards and backward. Okay. I know what I'm doing, I think. Deeper, deeper down the line. Really do enjoy the music in this series of raids. Okay, that's everyone getting hit by it. throw that off where it's not going to bother people. Sweet. Now, we just dark again. I don't have any of my negation ready for that. Feral exchange. Okay, this is the Luminoid Sigma. This is where you do the. Yeah, you do this and then some of them transfer, and I have to see that this one is safe. There we go. Here we go again. Stay safe. Star. Just keeping up with the same old attack. Works for me. I don't have to remember perfect mechanics. Oh, I'm in a bad place. I don't want to be here. Actually, it could be worse. Oh, there we go. We did it. Themis, Ericthonios. She won't resist, like... It worked. Guess the dancer who waits gets the commendation. Well, we did it. We've won! The keyword is sealed away. And alive this time. Library can't deny us now. Can he not? I could sense from here that hegemony has been contained. The effect of Abyssos' tinkering is even more dire than I had imagined. As is to be expected, Ericthonios appears quite pleased with our victory. I'm not too surprised. But we're not done yet, are we? We still have to find... stop Abyssos himself, right? Our plan was a success, although I hardly need to tell you that. Hegemony has been sealed away, and now you have no choice but to admit the merit in our methods. You have the right of it. I am not so petty as to deny the achievements of those I've squabbled with, no matter how strongly we disagree. It'll smirk. Moreover, this being, Aether, as thin as retreating mist, unable to wield creation magics. yet powerful enough to subdue a Hemifios, has made this ordeal far more interesting. Then we have leave to continue. As for that, there is one among you whose very presence puts the others at risk. It would be best to proceed without him, for failure would have consequences that reach far beyond Pandaemonium. And of whom do you speak? A warder who cannot even conduct his duty without aid. In this place, hope alone is not enough to overcome what awaits you. A single misstep will send all to their doom. Eric, I'm on your side here. You've gotten us through this far. So long as we each do our part and look to the allies by our side, even a neophyte can upraise his companions. That's something that Sorin and Themis taught me. While I do not wish to express any bias, I am inclined to agree. If my investigation has made anything clear, it is that we are together greater than the sum of our parts. And hope has brought us this far. It drives us to seek the right path, and to act before the path lies close to us. Then tell me, what is it you hope for? See Hephaestus in chains. That's the surest way to prevent further sacrifices. I'm aware that destroying Pandaemonium would rid us of him, but the cost is far too great. And I admit, I wish to know how he means to resurrect Athena. And there we have it. You must leave this place at once, and do not think to set foot in Pandaemonium again. Is that a little extreme? You are capable, that much is plain. Yet Hephaestus cannot be suffered to live, and I shall not allow his talk of resurrection to poison mine or anyone else's mind. Life flows in a cycle. This is known. All souls return to the underworld, and Athena's is no exception. She has likely found a new vessel, and a new journey to embark upon. You cannot be ignorant to the folly of Hephaestus' words. Even were he to breathe life into a body, the soul contained within would not be your mother's. What if our knowledge is imperfect? What if Hephaestus has discovered something that no one else has? He knows all that you do, understands the bitter reality of the world. He wouldn't pursue the impossible. Think, Ericthonios. I have already explained that he is merely my twisted reflection. Is it worth bringing back your mother if it means others are used and discarded like tools? Is it worth it? To see her once more? Now you would measure the worth of your colleagues' lives. What was that foolish brain about saving them? Merely a performance to hide your childish devotion to your mother? Please, such barbs will get us nowhere. We should first discuss... You would call me fool! You, who murdered your wife in service of your ambition? For the sake of the star, no doubt. Ericthonios? I could hear it again. That voice, inside my head. Inside your... I know who to follow. Hephaestus. Father. Mother. Oh, I love you so. This voice will guide me to you. Ericthonios? No, listen not. Listen not, Ericthonios. Apologies. You taught me that a calm heart stays the course. I could never even grasp the rudder. Where did he go? We have to do something, right? This was Hephaestus' work, there could be no doubt. It seems he learned from his previous failure. Labrea? Do you have a plan? Excuse me? Hephaestus' cunning despite his warped mind. Whatever took hold of Ericthonios, it made short work of his reason. From the moment he laid eyes upon me, I could sense his hatred and rage simmering below the surface. It was but a matter of time until it spilled forth, and that was when he fell into the spell's embrace. A magic woven with such skill that Ericthonios himself failed to notice it until it was too late. If this is the measure of Hephaestus' power, then the other keywords had little chance to resist it. We saw his work during our encounter with Hesperos. Doubtless Hephaestus' magics fed his admiration and envy, until there was room for naught else in his heart. And there was something else besides. Did you not feel the presence of another? I think I did. A voice. Calling to Ericthonios. As I thought, someone was trying to warn Ericthonios. But whom? Could it have been one of the keywords? Alas, their warning arrived too late. I had already provoked Ericthonios past the point of no return. I bear the burden for this failure. In my stubbornness, I could but scorn the boy, and Hephaestus knew that. And now I dread to think of the ordeal that awaits him due to my rashness. Brea. There is time yet to save him. We can easily regain control of Abyssos, giving us a firm foothold from which to brave Pandaemonium's lowest level. The enemy is within reach. Well, if I can be of any help, just tell me where. Just as with Hesperos, Ericthonios is in danger of being consumed by Hephaestus' spell. However, I have faith that he will not easily lose sight of himself. The way forward is clear. Lahabrea, pray tell us all you know of what we shall find beyond Abyssos. I can only assume one more keyword lies in wait. The deepest level of Pandaemonium is called Tartarus, and your passage shall be challenged but not only by a keyword. Hephaestus has laid traps in every corner of its halls. You have no hope of surviving far past the threshold. That, I expect, is where Sorin shall shine. His dissolute ether shall allow him to slip through the traps unimpeded. We saw it when Hephaestus has had no effect, and doubtless even he has yet to devise a countermeasure. Then that's all the more reason to act quickly, before he does. Then time is of the essence. Hephaestus is already well aware that you can match a keyword in battle. He will not stand idle while you stroll past his other defenses at your leisure. Agreed. However, clarity will be indispensable to our success, and I'm afraid I must insist upon it ere we depart. Clarity? We have yet to discern to what end Hephaestus would use Ericthonios. If you know, I would ask that you enlighten us. And then there is the matter of Athena. Why do you so fiercely rebuke Ericthonios' feelings for his mother? While I understand the very thought of resurrecting the dead is anathema, you act as if grief over her passing should be equally so. How are we to grapple with what plagues our friend and drives our foe, if you refuse to acknowledge it? I do acknowledge it. I wish only to spare those that feel its still greater pain. Greater? Looking at the results, did that end up protecting him? How dare you? No, you are right. The blame for Ericthonios' fate rests squarely on my shoulders. Very well, I shall lay bare the truth, but only after the foe before us has been laid low. I suppose I can accept that. The remaining keyword is Agdistis. She has served in Pandaemonium since its inception, and her affinity for magic is peerless even among the keywords. Hephaestus knows that losing her would mean the end of his experiments. He has hidden her in a space unreachable by conventional means. But your presence makes mockery of such barriers. The scarcity of your ether means it will be trivial to send you directly to Agdistis. We shall approach as closely as caution will allow. We know where the battle will commence, so I do not anticipate difficulty in detecting your presence. From afar, I shall do my best to provide you with ground on which to fight, and phantom allies to aid you. As for the interment, I have yet to think of a foolproof method. Interment shall not be necessary. Why not? From here I can see Agdistis' essence, but it is scarcely recognizable. Hephaestus was more ambitious with her than he was with hegemony. She has been transfigured such that barely a scantling of herself remains. We can but take comfort in what a mercy the underworld will be to her. She's that far gone? I understand. I want to save these people, but I also know it's not long before a worse fate comes for them. I sense that Hephaestus has come close to perfecting his image of a Hemitheos, which means his research is in its final stage. I shall establish control of Abyssos while keeping an eye on your battle. When the dust is settled, Hephaestus will have nowhere left to flee. Trapped in his own prison. Hopefully this will all be over soon. Ooh. Well, hopefully the queue for this one will be a little shorter. I'll give it until that 9-minute average wait time, and then I'll swap to healer if the queue hasn't popped. Oh, is Minnie feeling sleepy? No worries, Minnie. You didn't You missed Scream. Doesn't woke you up with a call. Oh yeah, that's always... It's maybe not so bad when you're asleep, but it's sometimes like mornings where I know I have to do something, and I'm woken up by a phone call. I always wake up in a panic, kind of going, is that a phone call that's kind of complaining about me being late to something? Yeah, the queue finally popped. You can still hear screaming. Yep, you've got a second chance. Just hopefully the queue for this one won't take as long. It took about 20 something minutes for the last one to pop. The queues for Abyssos are definitely taking longer than I've forgotten it again. How can I not Asphodelis? I just cannot remember Asphodelis. Alrighty. Trying to think of like what else I might be able to do. Gear is all, yeah, we don't need to repair any gear or anything. Actually that might be enough tombstones to get another piece of gear upgraded, actually. I think the gauntlets next. Oh. And daylight. Random gear. Yep, I can afford the gauntlets. No, I don't want the breaches. Gauntlets. Slammer over them. And make sure the portrait's not broken. Item level 629. So my thing is, yeah, mostly the jewelry that's kind of holding us back. Yeah, I don't have any better jewelry. Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't, because I haven't done it. I haven't unlocked any of the later patch dungeons, which is where you start getting the better item level gear. Oh yeah, the little Alafel walls. These really aren't going to stop someone falling over the edge. I'm still interested at some point in doing like a walking, like a sightseeing tour of Final Fantasy XIV. They really do love the environments in it. This little wall. I doubt it, but is this a... No, it's not a sittable wall. I didn't think it was. It just kind of clicked to me. That looks like it's kind of seating height. as well, there's a whole huge island, like, behind the city. I wonder if out there, if, like, there's more, like, rural Sharlayan hamlets, like, where they do farming and such. Like, probably, like, wider scale farming than they do in Labyrinthos. Oh, wait a moment, there's something on my screen. Some specks of dirt on my screen. I only noticed when I kind of saw it against the blue sky that I was like, let me clean those off while I can see them clearly. We've got both the tanks. Tranquility. Oh yeah, I got some news on the kittens, by the way. The kittens, well, first of all, with the good news, they're starting to get quite along with Chica, our older cat. She's still kind of... Chica doesn't want to play with them, but they're much more, like, tolerant of each other. Like, she's not kind of growling whenever they come near her. It's just kind of a... Don't swat at me, like, don't try and play with my tail or get in a fight with me. I don't want any of that. I just want to relax. So it's kind of like if... Because the kittens can be quite... They would play fight quite a lot. And, they're fine play fighting with each other, but Chica is like... Chica takes the attitude of, if you're gonna fight with me, I'm going to fight back. Hard. But otherwise, like, they'll all sleep together on my mum's bed. Chica will kind of be like, she won't like snuggle up with them. So it has happened a couple of times, but generally she'll kind of be off to the side. While Kiko and Momo still nestle up together. Chica, get on my lap. No, I think it's kind of as well like a... Well, like Chica is kind of like middle-aged. Like she's 8-9 years old. So she's kind of about halfway through her life. So for her, this is like basically like these are basically like 12, 13-year-olds running around trying to play, and she's just done. But there was an incident a couple of days ago where I wasn't there for it, but I was being regaled with the story that my mum was giving some treats out to them, and she gave some to Momo, she gave some to Kiku, and as she went to give some to Chica, she turned away for a moment, and Kiku just like buried her head in the jar and got her head stuck. And like actually stuck. Like my mom tried like using some soap and stuff to kind of get Kiku's head out, but it just wouldn't work. And oh, it was... I think it was a glass jar. That was the big problem. So they tried a lot, and Momo, and like, it was one of the things that was kind of a, like, it was a bad situation, but was kind of a good sign, is how concerned Chica was. My mom was saying that apparently Chica was like very visibly like kind of like she was worried about Kiku. Like trying to clamber over my little brother to investigate and help. And eventually the only solution was to, my little brother had to very carefully break the glass jar. And then kind of like pry apart the opening. So yeah, it did really mean Kiku did get a bit of a cut just behind her right ear, I think it was. And yeah, was understandably distressed for a little bit. But yeah, after Kiku has recovered fine. Like, she's the next day she was barreling around the house as if nothing had ever happened. But it was a cool. We now have all treats are going to be kept in plastic jars that have square lids. No more glass jars with round lids. Also, hello, Alif. I guess I'm winning. We've got 2 out of the 4 raids we're doing today. The queue times are just kind of taking their time. Oh boy. Actually, I know it's a little early, but I might withdraw and maybe leave that for tonight's stream. You can hop in if you think it'll help. I'm not too sure, Minnie. Because it's kind of hard to tell, like, I suppose, yeah, if you're in a party it might help, but that's restarting the queue. But I'm kind of looking at the time now, and I've got about 20 minutes before I'd be finishing up anyway. And we've still got 2 raids to go. So I think I might save these raids for next stream. Well, maybe I will just, I might just commit to just going through them as Astrologian. And just do it as no, I don't want the adventurer plate. I want, just do it as, just play through it as Astrologian instead of Paladin. Because tank queues are good, but I think healer queues are better. So, poor Minnie still isn't doing too well. I feel bad as well if you're not feeling well, Minnie throwing you under the bus as a healer. No, because I trust it would be just our luck for on a day you're not feeling well and you're queuing as healer to get a tank who doesn't quite know what they're doing. Everyone gains. Yeah, I've kind of noticed, like, in general around here, I've kind of noticed several people at our church have been getting sick recently. Just with like normal colds, which is kind of, people just seem to be getting sick rather early this year. Normally it's more November, December time we see the colds. Slept for 9 hours. Yeah. Sleep is a great healer. Get your vitamin C from oranges and bell peppers. Both very good sources. Well, that was something. I'm just rambling at this point. Like, I've decided like that's kind of all the progress I'm making on the stream, but I kind of just want to. We can sit and chat for a bit. But yeah, I recently I have to go back. I'll have to go back to, I think it was Sainsbury's was the supermarket I went to, and they just had some of that like pre-cooked like refrigerated chicken you get for sandwiches, but they had was it mango and coconut? It was yeah, it was like chicken fillet, like chicken breasts with a like mango and coconut. It wasn't a sauce, but kind of like a, it's a bit like marinated, or no, I don't know if that's right. Just like mango and coconut chicken, and I had that in a wrap with was it a bistro salad and some chopped bell peppers, and it was a really nice wrap. Spread? It wasn't quite a spread either. Like, it felt like it had been cooked into the chicken. But it was, I need to pop in and get some more because it was really nice, and it was like very simple to make. Just like those little, just to cut up some bell peppers into, yeah, that's marinade. Yeah, I thought so. I'm just kind of, I'm not good with my cooking lingo. Yeah. Masks and gloves have kind of disappeared for the most part from around here. I don't think I've seen anyone wear any in a good few months now. I still kind of, I keep a mask about, like I've got one on my desk right now just in case I need it. But I think for the most part actually now, like if I'm going to use a mask, it's mainly for hay fever. Because that was something I actually found, is like wearing a mask out and about like does definitely help with hay fever. Just keeping the pollen out of your system. Actually, yeah, no, speaking of like blaming it on other people for going outside, I suppose that's maybe one reason, is that September is the month schools get back from the summer holidays. And yeah, summer holidays are 2 months over here. So people have a 2-month break and then all the kids suddenly like all go back to school together. Plenty of cross-contamination. Oh boy. Can you board this boat? There you go. Oh, oh, I'm only allowed that much onto the boat. You only wear a mask in medical facilities where they're required to, or... Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Like, I was one of the... when masks kind of, like, became a thing and started being, like, recommended, I was fine with them. I suppose that's kind of a... maybe a influence from me watching as much Japanese media as I do, and I'm just kind of... Some people wear masks, like, just regularly. I think actually, like, hay fever is one of the bigger, like one of the most common reasons for people to wear masks in Japan. Like, other than just kind of like, if you're casually sick, it's polite to wear a mask just to make sure, to try and reduce the odds of infecting other people. We can watch Atlas soon. I'd certainly be up for that, Mooney. I'll have to talk to you a bit about it once I finish up, which I should probably do soonish. Yeah, this yeah, I'll try it. I'll try the next stream to start up. Yeah, I'll get back to. I'm going to need to upgrade my item level before I can do that, though. Because I'm still on some. Oh, I just cripple over stuff. Hold up, can I change that? Can I? Wait, damn it, have I not even picked up the astrologian gear from Ataru's allergies and probably pollution? I suppose possibly pollution in Japan, but when I visited Japan, I was in more rural areas where there wouldn't have been so much air pollution. But I suppose then that's maybe just in that specific situation. Give me my astrologian gear. Astronomia, 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 and Astronomia. There we go. I've got the Urianger out. The Urianger top. I kind of? Is that? No. No, it's the Shadowbringers one, the Urianger looking one, isn't it? I don't even know. I don't think that isn't high enough. Yeah, I'm still not high enough level. 585. Actually, yeah, just about. I think I'm exactly. I have exactly the average item level needed. But yeah, I'll try on Friday's stream going through that as Astrologian and see if that cuts the queue times down any. Cool. Let me find a nice place to get an ending screen. I thought this would give us a better view of the statue. Oh well. There we go. So, that's, yeah, going to be me for tonight. I'll be back on Thursday with more Persona 5 Strikers as we continue investigating the Winter Wonderland. It is Mayor Hyodo's jail. I'm still kind of interested to see like how this ties in with her having a personal connection to Haru. And I'm also curious to see, in a little more of a silly aspect, why are there so many like knives and forks and food things around Hyodo's palace? What's the food connection there for? But yeah, that'll all be for another day, and I'll be back with Sorin on Friday. Winter Wonderland. Yep, it's being reminded like going into the supermarket today and they've already got Christmas aisles out, and I'm kind of like, Halloween's not even happened yet. Can we not have the Christmas stuff? Like they're selling Christmas baked goods that are going to go out of date in November. You can't. This isn't even a buy early to make sure you are like beating the Christmas rush, because if you buy it now, you're gonna have to buy more for Christmas anyway. You're already seeing Christmas decorations for sale right now. Yeah, that's You can start celebrating Christmas on December 1st. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked again. So yeah, yeah, I've got the Discord is there. If you haven't joined already and you want to join the Discord, there's links to that both on my YouTube profile and on my Twitch profile. Discord is where I put up my timetable and you can recommend other games or things you'd like me to do on stream. But with that said, I'll just say thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope Mooney enjoyed your nap during the middle of it. And until the next time I see you, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.